Coming up on Tech News today, Angry Birds is coming to Android, so stop being angry, birds. We also have an actual Nigerian who got busted for a scam. But here in the U.S., and Duke Nukem Forever is coming. No, I'm not kidding. Really, it's coming. They said they have a release. Stop laughing. Watch. We'll tell you about it.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Friday, September 3rd, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by Slingbox. Watch your favorite TV shows when you're away from home with Slingbox, like I am right now. Check out Slingbox at Best Buy near you or visit slingbox.com/twit.
And I'm Sarah Lane.
Behind the boards, our excellent producer, John Slanina, a.k.a. Jammer B, filling in on a Friday.
Woohoo!
This is a show where we kick around the tech news of the day and try to make some sense of it all. And joining us today from DragonCon in Atlanta is Len Peralta, host of Jawbone Radio and purveyor of the Geek a Week project, podcast forums, even trading card forums. Welcome, Len.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Hi, Len.
We're doing good. We're having a blast. We're actually here at DragonCon. I'm sitting right next to the escalator. There's a ton of people here wandering around. I'm sure you hear the folks in the background. Brian Ibbett from Coverville is right there. So
nice.
We're having a great time. We got Nicole Spagnuolo from Movielicious and Ladies of Leet. There's podcasters everywhere here. It's awesome.
That's fun. I love the podcast table. Say hi to everybody for me.
I will.
And Fred and Wilma are here, too.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Our first bit of news actually comes from PAX, though, the Penny Arcade Expo, all the way on the other side of the continent, up there in the Pacific Northwest. Apparently, Gearbox has finished or is close to finishing Duke Nukem Forever. Does anyone believe this?
Or as it's known in the Slashdot comments as Duke Nukem for Never.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, apparently you're going to see it by the end of 2010. They're supposed to have an actual PC version of the game by then. And they're even talking big like they're going to come with an Xbox and a PS3 version by the end of next year.
I mean, that's great. I hope that happens. I mean, it seems like had plenty of time to get something nice together. But it's funny. It's like every excited article you read about it.
It's been coming for years and years and years. It was going to come out, then it was canceled. Then it was come out, then it was canceled since the early 2000s. And then there was a lawsuit over who actually owned it. And so it's finally having, well, maybe its last attempt at coming back. I thought it was dead.
Well, it's great how everybody is talking.
Really.
Got a little bit of a lag on the show, but we'll just do our best. Go ahead, Len.
Yeah, go ahead, Len.
Oh, well, I was going to say it's just kind of anticlimactic because it's just, you know, by the time it comes out, no one's going to care. Why is this even news? You know?
Because it's become a meme. It's become a symbol for something that never came and would never ever come. And so if something like that actually happens, it blows apart that meme, and it's like witnessing pigs fly. In fact, there was a flying pig logo used in the announcement.
Yeah, I mean, they're acknowledging the fact that it's become such a thing that would never come to light, that pigs are flying because it's actually going to happen. Better be good. That's all I got to say.
Pigs fly at PAX.
This better be the best game I've ever seen.
All right, something that actually will probably come for real that we can definitely count on, it looks pretty good as well, is the new Toshiba Folio introduced at IFA. That's the conference in Berlin that's been going on. A lot of stuff coming out of IFA this year. The Folio is a tablet. It's bigger than the Samsung Galaxy Tab. It's a 10-inch tablet, multi-touch screen. 1024 by 600 pixel resolution, NVIDIA Tegra processor, stereo speakers, 1.3 megapixel webcam. It'll have a couple of USB ports, actually, an SD card slot. You can put a 32 gig thing in there, so expand the memory. It will come with 16 gigabytes on board. HDMI connector for putting it to your TV, Bluetooth, and cost 399 euros for the version with just Wi-Fi, or 499 euros if you want to get the 3G version. So it's not coming to the U.S. right away. And they have, I don't think they gave a real release date, but they said soon.
I mean, so 499 euros translates to about 639 US dollars. And you go, at first I went, whoa, what? Come on. But it's got a lot of things the iPad doesn't have if you're going to compare the two. I mean, they're comparable, at least in size. And, you know, the 1.3 megapixel webcam is not a good camera, but it's a camera. iPad doesn't have that. 2 USB ports, HDMI, SD card slot. I mean, you can hook up an SD card adapter to the iPad, but it's not built in. I mean, this is like everything I wish the iPad had. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it.
And the price, 399 euros, about 511 US. So it's close. Go ahead, Len.
Oh, I was going to say maybe it fits what the iPad is going to be in like another year or so. So if someone can't wait for it, you know, for a camera, then this would kind of fit that need, I think.
Definitely. So, you know what? We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for all these tablets to finally come and challenge the iPad. I'm glad, actually, that nobody's calling these iPad killers yet. But the fact that we're actually seeing really good-looking Android-based tablets gives me hope that we're actually going to have some competition in this space, and that's going to be good for everybody.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Slingbox, without whom I would not be able to watch Futurama right now. Because I'm at DragonCon in Atlanta, right? But I got all these shows being recorded on my DVR back in San Rafael, California. I've got to be able to watch them, and I'm not like in the hotel room where I can watch them live. So with Slingbox, I can watch them on my laptop. I can watch them on my phone. Anywhere I can get a net connection, basically, I can watch all of my television from home, including the stuff that I've recorded. It's a great way to catch up on the kind of TV that you want to get while you're away. All you got to do is go to Best Buy, purchase Slingbox, bring it home, hook it up to your internet, hook it up to your television, install the app on your laptop or your phone or wherever you're going to watch it, and go for it. Enjoy Slingbox. Maybe it's not essential to your life to be able to watch every TV show when you're on the go, on the road, but it's kind of nice, I have to say. So check it out. Go to Slingbox at a Best Buy near you or visit slingbox.com/twit. Twitter had an interesting post on their blog today. Some numbers, some analysis. Sarah, what's this all about?
Yeah, so Twitter CEO Evan Williams posted a blog entry. It was mainly just kind of, hey, everybody, just want to talk about the usage. Twitter usage is up, and here are all the platforms that we're on. And it was mostly just an informational post. But what's interesting about it is that one of what Williams highlighted was the 10 Twitter apps by unique users. 78% of folks use Twitter.com. And that's, I mean, you're talking about not only Twitter's official apps on various devices, but TweetDeck, Echo Phone, TwitPic via SMS, all of that stuff. 78% of folks are still using the web interface. And it's funny because I feel a little vindicated because people are always laughing at me that I very rarely tweet, or Twitter as you like to call it, not via the web. It's just it's the place I feel the most comfortable. I try other apps out, and I, you know, like the Brizzlies and ways that I can use Twitter that actually give me more than basic Twitter does. But I always seem to go back to the web interface, and now I know I'm not alone. 78%, that's wild.
Yeah, I use Twitter.com on the web as well. That is my main place to use it. I don't run a TweetDeck or anything on my laptop, and I feel like I am alone in that, but these statistics say otherwise. On my phone, I don't necessarily use the Safari app. I don't use the web. I will, in fact, I use the Twitter app on my phone, and I use Asphora on my tablet. But Len, does this fit your profile too? Is this how you use Twitter?
No, I absolutely. I'm a complete opposite from all of you guys. I use primarily TweetDeck, both on my iPhone and on my computer. It's just I find it easier to use. It's easier for me to see like the DMs. The column. I like that stuff. And going to the web to use Twitter always seems like archaic to me, and I don't understand why people would do it. So the numbers are interesting to me, but I don't really fit that. I don't really fit that mold.
It's interesting.
I'm in the 20% that's not using that.
I thought more people agreed with Len. I really did. Especially SMS at 8%. SMS is. I abandoned SMS long ago when I accidentally sent out a DM through fault of my own because I didn't realize the right protocol. And you still see that. Every once in a while something comes through on Twitter and you go, ha ha, SMS DM fail, because it's so obvious. It's like the one way not to use Twitter because it always messes people up. 8%, that's over TweetDeck. It's only holding steady at 3%. So just goes to show you.
I used to use SMS before I got a smartphone. Once I got a phone that had apps on it, though, that was it. I really didn't need SMS anymore. But if you've still got a feature phone or something that doesn't have a Twitter app, then I could see using SMS when you're on the go. Of course, that's what you're going to use. And I think that's probably what's propping up that 8%. All right, let's move on to the Medal of Honor controversy that continues. EA doesn't even ship it until October 12th, but they have been saying that, look, we know you can play the Taliban. We know that's controversial, but we're going to stick to it. We've consulted the military about this, and we're going to stick by our guns. But GameStop, according to Industry Gamer, has decided it won't sell the title at its stores that are located on U.S. military bases, and it won't even be advertised in these stores either. So GameStop's sort of taken a step back from it, not entirely opposing the Medal of Honor game, but sort of saying we're going to be sensitive to this and we're not going to put it where it would probably have the most protest. Right? What's your perspective on this, Len? You think it's the right thing to do?
Well, I don't really think it's going to matter because if they wanted to play the game in its true form, they could just go outside the military base and buy it. So I think it's kind of a strange stance for GameStop to decide to do that. I don't really see how it's going to matter in the long run. I mean, the sensitivity thing I think is very smart, but I don't really, I don't really understand that move.
Well, I think, Len, you explained it perfectly. It's if somebody really wants the game, they can leave a military base and purchase it. It's not as if they're going to be confiscated if you're caught with the game, but the decision has been made to at least be respectful to those who maybe don't want to see this game, that it would be upsetting to them. So it's kind of putting a little buffer zone, I think, between people who are interested and think it's just a game and aren't going to have a problem with it and those that are.
Yeah, it's definitely walking the line for GameStop because they don't want to have a lot of protesters, a lot of people out in front giving them negative press. But at the same time, they don't want to be able to sell this game. They know it's going to be a huge hit. EA knows it's going to be a huge hit. So it's a fine line to have to walk.
Absolutely.
All right, a new security feature from Facebook is making it easier to find out if somebody's misusing your account. It's remote logout. So if you find that somebody is logged into your Facebook account without your permission, you can log them out remotely. Google has had this in place for your Google account for a long time, and it's always interesting to check. Most of the time, you're not going to find out that somebody else has logged into your account. Most of the time, you'll find out that you've left it logged in on some other machine. But Sarah, you looked at this. What did you find?
Yeah, so this isn't active on all Facebook accounts, but it's active on mine. If you go into your Facebook account, it's in the account drop-down settings, and then you go into account security. If it's activated, you'll see that as an option. So I went in and I said, yeah, let's turn on login notifications. Once I did, a bunch of account activity expanded underneath. And I went, okay, today, Petaluma, California. Okay, that's me. Yesterday, Petaluma, that was on Facebook Touch. Okay, so that was my iPad. But then there were a few logins from a couple of weeks ago in mid-August from Oakland, California on devices that I wasn't recognizing. And I'm not sure what or who that was because I don't think it was me.
I'm sorry, that was me.
Well, Tom, it's funny because originally I was thinking there must be some way I can blame Tom for this, but you don't live in Oakland anymore.
No, but I do go back there to log into other people's Facebook account.
Well,
no, that is weird to wonder where that login came from.
Well, it's weird. I mean, I had the option to end activity on both. they were two different instances. So I did, and I quickly changed my Facebook password. But it's like I'm sort of sitting here going, I don't know, that was weird. I didn't really expect to see anything like that. Haven't had any spam sent out from my account as far as I know. No one said anything, and I haven't seen anything. But it's very interesting. If you're a Facebook user and you're at all concerned about something like this, it's at least worth going in and checking it out and poking around and making sure there isn't anything weird going on.
That's kind of creepy, isn't it?
It is.
It's really creepy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, good thing I don't use Facebook for really a lot of personal conversations. I mean, my inbox is somewhat of an open book. I not too weird, but it's that wouldn't be the case for everybody. I'm sure of it with as many millions of users as they have.
Did you save that IP address?
I did. Well, it doesn't give you an IP address.
Oh, what information?
Actually, you know what it does? It does give you an IP address. You have to hover over the location.
Save that IP address.
Well, I already killed the activity.
Oh, you already killed it.
Yeah.
Because we could use that IP address to try to figure out where that came from, whether it was just kind of an odd login on your account, or if it was some
yeah, that was kind of dumb on my part. I should have realized that.
That's what it could be. It could be some sort of application logging in on your behalf, something that you have given the credentials to.
On a shoulder.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
very
let's take
true.
a look at this next story. Google's Eric Schmidt is being mocked in a Times Square ad that is running by Consumer Watchdog. The group's Inside Google site produced 2 videos that depict Schmidt as a creepy, maniacal ice cream truck. Let's just take a look at this.
Hey kids, get your free ice cream. Free ice cream. Hi there, boys and girls. They should know there's no such thing as a free ice cream. Give me a dozen full body scans. Come on, kids, get your ice cream. I already know your favorite flavors. Now hold still while we collect some of your secrets. And if there's anything you don't want anyone to know...
A short version of this is going to run 36 times a day for an unspecified length of time in the middle of Times Square. They got $100,000 by the Rose Foundation to monitor Google, and I guess they used some of the money to make this. Len, you're an animator. Is this a fair depiction of Eric Schmidt, or are they running some propaganda?
Well, to be honest with you, I would say, it's a great animation. Let's get that out of the way first. What a beautiful piece of animation. I personally would think there'd be more impact if it were like a Zuckerberg or something who was doing stuff with privacy. I think that's more interesting. But the animation is great.
The problem is that people tourists in Times Square in New York City looking up and going, oh, something about Google. I feel as though this message is going to be lost on a lot of folks who are like, this is a really weird Google ad. It's kind of creepy. Ice cream.
They're going to think that Google's giving away ice cream.
Yeah, I think it's like, it may just not come across the way that is intended. Instead of people saying, Google, privacy issues, we really got to think about it. It's like, is there free ice cream today? Where's Google? Where do we go to get our ice cream?
I don't think Schmidt isn't a well enough known face to be like, oh, wow, that's really good. It's just, it's not effective in that way, I think. So.
Right. I agree.
Now, whether it's coincidental or not, Mike Yang, Google's Associate General Counsel, just published a blog post informing users that the company is actually going to make its privacy policies shorter and easier to understand for non-lawyers. They're going to make some other changes, but they are not actually altering any of their privacy practices. They just want to make it easier for people to know what they're actually doing. And those updates will go into effect October 3rd, which is about 30 days from now. So there you go. Maybe the ice cream video already had an effect.
Well, anything that is non-lawyer speak, natural language, privacy policies that I can skim through and understand is a good thing. Whether they change their policies or not, at least people should have an easier time digesting the information.
Frustrated Nexus One owner is suing Google over the fact that T-Mobile service didn't really work very well. He's from Florida. He said that, you know what? You have to drop $793.28 on the Nexus One grand total when you count the service that he dropped from AT&T, the amount he had to pay to break that contract, the full unlocked price of the Google Nexus One, and being in Orlando, he didn't get very good service from T-Mobile. Now, T-Mobile says, look, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes your service isn't going to be as good as it is in other places. But Neighbors, the guy bringing this suit, says this phone is not fit for its warranted, advertised, ordinary, and intended purpose. It is, in fact, defective. Google knew, reasonably should have known, or was obligated to understand that users would expect decent 3G performance from the device.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we all got the decent 3G performance we thought we were paying for? I mean,
if he wins this, does that mean all the AT&T people can jump on board and do it against the iPhone?
Boy, Tom, I sure hope so. I mean, I wonder if our frustrated Nexus One owner tried to at least get reimbursed before bringing an entire lawsuit against Google, because I don't really see this working out in his favor. But I could possibly see him at least getting some money back, and that's even a little far-fetched. I'm not sure what
Google, not T-Mobile. Grab a headline, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Google, not T-Mobile. I mean, should I just sue Apple? I'm sure that'll go over well.
Yeah, and it's a class action lawsuit, so every Nexus One owner stands to benefit whatever Neighbors gets out of this. So, class action lawsuits, they usually benefit the lawyers. I'm not going to pin too many hopes on this.
Yeah. Best of luck, Orlando dude. Best of luck.
All right, let's move on to the news fuse, shall we? The beta installment of Ubuntu's Maverick Meerkat has arrived. The Linux distro team on Thursday said they delivered the Ubuntu 10.10 beta, even though only the Alpha 4 code was expected. Final delivery of the code is still expected for October 10th.
Toshiba is recalling 41,000 laptops due to concerns about overheating AC adapter plugs. Affected models include the Toshiba Satellite T135, Satellite T135D, and Satellite Pro T130 notebook computers. The DC-in jack, where the AC adapter plugs into the computer, has overheated to the point of melting the plastic base around the DC-in jack opening. Only 14 incidents have been reported, with no injuries.
The SD Card Association is working on a revision to its widely used flash memory card technology that should nearly triple the data transfer speeds of mainstream SDHC and larger capacity SDXC cards. The spec should be complete in the first quarter of 2011, with products coming about a year afterwards. So we got a couple years to wait until we get super fast.
NVIDIA on Friday announced its new GeForce 400M series of graphic processing units, or GPUs, which will power the next generation of laptops from companies like Acer, Asus, Dell, Lenovo, Samsung, and Toshiba, the company said. The 400M series, launched at this week's IFA conference in Berlin, features the first laptop processors designed with NVIDIA's Fermi architecture. It also has NVIDIA's Optimus enabled.
Due to unprecedented demand, Apple is now churning out 2 million iPads per month, doubling its production numbers. Analysts indicate Apple wants to up that number to 3 million in Q4 of 2010. Sarah, is some sort of Oprah giveaway behind this, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, is it really? Is it the demand that's spawning?
Apparently, demand is not slowing. People were suspecting that the fact that you could get iPads easier these days meant that people weren't buying as many. It's like they just ramped up production.
Right. More units, less wait time. Boy Genius report reports that the Samsung Galaxy Tabs inbound for Sprint's network. Can I start that over? Sprint's network this November on both its 3G and 4G, i.e. WiMAX network, a la the Galaxy S and Epic 4G.
Hey, I'm on WiMAX right now. Cool.
Hey, how about that?
Microsoft is warning about a new piece of malware that auto-detects a user's browser and then imitates the relevant malware warning page from either Internet Explorer, Firefox, or Chrome. The fake warning pages look very similar to Microsoft Security Essentials webpage, especially in IE. Even the awards received by MSE and a link to the Microsoft Malware Protection Center have been copied. So be very careful out there, and you should know if they start to ask you to pay to download something, you probably hit the wrong thing. All the browsers have free malware protection downloads.
Hey, everybody out there. Have you ever gotten an email from a nice Nigerian person promising you the world in gold. Well, a Nigerian man has been sentenced to serve 151 months in a U.S. federal prison for running an advanced email scam that took in over $1 million. The conviction, which is rare for Nigerian email scams, was a result of his relocation to the U.S. after marrying an American citizen. Prosecutors say Okpako Mike Dimirian, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, he's 31 years old.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike actually stepped up the scam once he got to the U.S., once he moved to the U.S., since many of the American victims were just a lot more comfortable giving over their money to somebody who lived in the same country as them. Whoops.
I don't like those Nigerian email scams that I have to export my money. If I'm going to get scammed, I want to be scammed in America.
Yeah, do you live in the U.S.? Because if you don't, something's fishy about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of months to hang out in federal prison, so maybe he's learned his lesson. Time will tell.
He'll need to listen to TNT so he can hear what's on the calendar to get him through all of those long months.
Absolutely. Onto the calendar. Google releases Chrome 6 and pays out $4,337 in bug bounties to folks who found vulnerabilities. IFA is underway in Berlin, as you may have noticed from the volley of press announcements in the last 2 days, many of which have been spoken about here on TNT. Angry Birds Lite Beta for Android was released today. So if you're into that sort of thing, go get it.
Rejoice.
Woo! And a reminder that Monday is Labor Day for folks in the U.S. anyway, and we won't be here. The cottage will be dark. Tom will be flying back to the Golden State from Atlanta.
Yes.
And we're not going to have a live show, so get your tears out now and have a good Labor Day.
We will be back on Tuesday, though.
Yes.
And don't forget that we're streaming live from DragonCon all this weekend on TWiT. We're doing the parade tomorrow at 10 a.m. We're doing parties tomorrow night. That's Saturday night and Saturday morning. And then Sunday, we're walking through the hotels like this is where we are right now in the hotels. These are the folks you're going to see. So check us out there, live.twit.tv. And don't forget, if you're in Atlanta for the DragonCon, be here for the meetup that we're going to have on Saturday night, September 4th. RSVP to Lisa at twit.tv. The ladies of Lead are going to be there. Veronica Belmont's going to be there. Brian Brushwood's going to be there. I don't know, Len, are you going to come?
I'm going to try to
Len's
come. Definitely.
And Len, you've got some big announcements here at DragonCon. You just had a panel where you kind of caused some geek waves. What was that all about?
Well, I'm working on a project called geekaweek.net, which is a project started in March where I'm trying to connect with 52 geeks in 52 weeks and draw them as trading cards. I just finished the 26th geek. That was Toby Radlaw from American Splendor, and I announced today the next the next month of geeks. And in the month of September, you can expect to see names like Chris Hardwick, the Nerdist from Nerdist.com, Weird Al Yankovic, I think we all know who Weird Al is, Felicia Day from the Guild, and the geek that is up right now at geekweek.net, I'm proud to say, is none other than the co-founder of Apple Computers, Steve Wozniak, the Woz, is this week's geek. There's a brand new podcast I recorded with him and a new trading card. And hopefully, I just sent an email out. And it's supposed to be on the front page of woz.org later today. So we'll see how that goes.
That is
Crazy.
quite a lineup.
Thank you. It's the next half of the project is really power packed with nerdism. So it's going to be fun.
That's so cool, Len.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Geek Week is a really, really cool project. Glenn not only draws sketches of the geeks, but there's a podcast you should subscribe to as well, where he interviews them. And the one you did with Toby just now is really fascinating. That was a really interesting conversation. If for nothing else, it's worth watching that. But then I can't wait to hear the Woz one.
It's pretty cool. The Woz is very interesting. And I can't believe the project is shaping out to be the project I set it out to be. So I'm really excited for it.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up with some voicemails and emails. Our first voicemail is an Apple rant. These things happen. Let's hear what this one's about.
PJ from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Don't know if you're still exporting your rants, but I have one. Apple announced their new Apple TV, but with that, they have also announced that they are not going to do an update for the people who already have the legacy Apple TV. We bought the dream, we bought the hobby, for everything it could become, and now we're not going to get it unless we buy another unit? What the crap, Apple?
What the crap, Apple indeed, PJ from Grand Rapids, Michigan. What the crap?
You know what? There is a technical reason for this, I'm sure. I haven't investigated this, but my guess is they've got an entirely different software system. It may be iOS on this new Apple TV that they've got out. It's definitely running a whole different system of hardware. So instead of continuing to support legacy hardware, which is essentially more of an OS 10 rather than an iOS, they probably said, you know what, we're just going to cut that off and not try to port it to two different systems, different chip architectures and all that. Still, you get to say, what the crap, Apple, but that's my guess as to what's behind that. They're just taking this, it's been a hobby the whole way. They're taking it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
All right, our next caller is peeved about being cut off by Windows Phone 7. What happened?
Hey there, I'm one of your anonymous callers, and I unfortunately have a Windows Mobile 6.5 phone, Touch Pro 2, and I will tell you, if you hack the phone, you flash your own ROMs, it is one of the best phones out there with the ROMs that are out there. And I actually put Android on the phone to test it out. But I will tell you this, if Windows Mobile cuts off all the old users, like they're going to, and they're going to make all the new apps incompatible with the old phones, they're going to encourage a lot of Windows Mobile 6 users to convert right over to Android or to iPhone. So I think Windows is making a big mistake by not taking care of their hardcore users.
Well, this is kind of, he's sort of making the point that PJ was making about Apple, is as architecture shifts forward, the people who, they get left behind. What he wants to do is be able to run Android on his Windows 7 phone.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, this is almost the same complaint as the Apple TV guy, right? Which is like, why am I not being carried along here? Windows Phone 7 is built differently from the ground up. There's just no upgrade path. Would it be nice if they would port it to all the Windows Mobile devices and let you start over from scratch? Yeah, but then you'd get a bunch of people upset that they had to start over from scratch. So, sadly, I think that Microsoft had to rip the Band-Aid off here, and it's going to hurt some people like our anonymous caller. He's right to be upset. He's right to say I might switch to another phone. But really, you should look at Windows Phone 7 when you go to another phone and say, is that the right phone for me? If it's not, you should go get an Android phone or an iOS phone.
Right, exactly. I mean, Windows Phone 7 might be the phone he's always dreamed of, and if he really wants to be able to run Android, then maybe an Android phone is just a better option.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's finish up with some emails to TNT@twit.tv. Actually, we just got time for one. Sarah, go ahead and let us know what is coming from S.
Okay, S, and sort of anonymous emailer, but at least we know the first letter. Hey guys, regarding your ping comment from episode 67, I would say that Facebook's become the worst thing ever. It's foobar, in fact. Whereas ping is a purpose-driven social network that's dedicated to a particular cause, connecting people with artists and music. Granted, I don't particularly care for the name, and the ability to follow your friends seems redundant, but regardless, they have a clear path, and they're able to monetize on the service with a single click from day one, which Twitter and Facebook still haven't even figured out. Once that ping expands to include sections for movies and TV shows and apps, it'll be huge. And yes, you can follow celebrities on Twitter now, but you've never been this close to their movies and music, etc. So S is referring to me yesterday saying that a lot of my friends were saying that ping is the worst thing ever. And Tom, you had kind of a chuckle about that because you said, of course it isn't the worst thing ever. Maybe I was being a little bit dramatic. I was just mentioning how I had gotten a lot of negative feedback from the friends of mine who were using ping already. What do you think about what S has to say?
No, I think he makes a good point. At least, there's got to be somebody out there on that side of the issue. Interesting fact today, though, spam started to show up on ping. So, the spammers never rest. Once they find a new vector, they will exploit it to the hilt. So, no surprise to see it show up on ping, but how Apple actually responds to it will be the really interesting part.
Yeah, exactly. Well, S, I hope...
All right, Len Peralta, thank you so much for hanging out and being on TNT. And Sarah, do you have a hope for S before we say goodbye to Len?
S, I just hope that if you ever do a podcast, it's not as laggy as this one was.
I hope so, too. Len, let people know again where they can find not only Geek a Week, but all the stuff that you do on the internet.
Sure, you can go to find everything out I do at lenperalta.com. If you're interested in hearing my podcast, my other podcast, it's jawboneradio.com.
Woohoo!
Thanks, everybody, for putting up with our lagginess. I have to say, it's amazing to me. A year ago, we tried to do East Meets West on TWiT over video on a Verizon MiFi, and it did not happen. We could barely get audio out. So using Sprint WiMAX this year, it's working out. It's not bad. I mean, it had its problems, but we made it happen with video and everything. So thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. TNT with the twit.tv/TNT is our website. Voicemail. See you on Tuesday.